What's going on, guys? I'm Icy Rhythms. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, we're talking about a few different things, and we're going to start with Google Stadia because I just want to say I was right about this thing. I was right about Google Stadia. It is what it is. There really isn't much else to say. I don't know how much hype this thing has left, but I have to feel that it's almost at an end. Whatever hype it has left, it's not going to last much longer, and I can see Google probably abandoning this whole project that they've probably poured billions into in the next year or two, possibly less. I mean, the amount of data that games are eating up, even at just 1080p, is completely ridiculous. And that was one of my points before, not just, the eating of data, but coupled with that, some people have very small data caps, 250 gigs, 500 gigs. And then some people are like, well, I have really good internet, I'm going to play at 4K. So you imagine going beyond 1080p, it's going to be even worse than that. And you can look on the internet, there's already tons of articles on this. Even just some average playtime over the weekend can eat up as much as like 230 some gigs. So Google Stadia is going absolutely nowhere. This is just a disaster for Google. Thankfully for Google, they're a tech giant, and this is just a small blip on the radar, and this isn't going to have an everlasting effect on the company and things that they do moving forward. I think, once they wash their hands clean of Google Stadia, it's just not going to matter. A lot of us will probably forget that it was a thing in 5 years. And if anyone brings it up, we'll be like, oh yeah, that was kind of a complete fucking failure. There are now rumors circulating that Resident Evil 3 Remake is in development and could release as soon as 2020. I think it possibly could be in the early stages of development. They've obviously seen huge success with Resident Evil 2 Remake, and they would probably like to remake 3 and 4. I don't know if... I guess there's a small chance I could see for 5 being remade, but Resident Evil 6, if they went back and remade Resident Evil 6, I would hope that they would change many things about the story, just the writing in general, how the game plays, the locations, ditch the, 3 or 4 different campaigns that they had. I personally only played Leon's campaign, but I can't see Resident Evil 6 ever being remade. 5, a small chance. 4, definitely. You can bet anything that you have in your bank account that one day Resident Evil 4 will be remade, even if it's 10 or 15 years from now. That's definitely something that's gonna happen. So I think it's probably true. Early stages of development for Resident Evil 3. I'm excited. I still need to play and complete Resident Evil 2 and give you guys a review for that, because the original game is, probably in my top 10, and if it doesn't hit my top 10 somehow, certainly in my top 20. But I'm gonna guess it's probably in my top 10 games ever made. So I'm probably, it's a review for that game. The remake with me is probably going to be pretty glowing. I'm probably not going to have too many bad things to say about it. So Resident Evil 3 Remake, possibility. What do you guys think about that? And then we have Half-Life, a new Half-Life. It's exclusive to VR. I don't think it's exclusive to one VR platform, but for now, I think you'll only be able to play this if you have a VR headset. So my thing is, we'll just get this out of the way. First of all, it's really exciting because it's a lot more than what I expected. When there were rumors saying that there was going to be a trailer and it was going to be Half-Life related, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Maybe I should have. I probably should have done videos on that, but I didn't. It looks awesome. Like, it really looks awesome. It looks like something I would play if I already had a VR headset. Now, some people are going to tell me, oh, just go get an Oculus, or spend $700 to $1,000 and get the Index. I think if I got one, it probably would be the Index. I'm going to get Valve's own shit to play their own shit. I think it just makes sense. I think the best experience probably will be on the Index. And this game looks incredible. Like, this game looks like a AAA experience. They're saying it's anywhere from, 12 to 18 hours or something. Like, it looks like a AAA experience, and I guess we know what Valve has been up to. They have been quiet in terms of developing games, and they were, pretty far down on my list in terms of, where I would rank developers. And at one point they were, probably from 2005 moving forward, they were definitely in the top 10, and in some point got into my top 5, but I had to knock them down and probably out of the top 10 because they were becoming very disappointing, a little too complacent, a little too comfortable for my liking, with just kind of, riding off the success of Steam, which is fine. It makes sense for them as a company. And I said, if there was ever a Half-Life that was made, whether it was 3 or a game like this with VR, it would be for the fans. It's not necessarily because Valve needs the money. It's for the fans. And they would probably like it if Index took off. I'm assuming that's probably a thing as well. Valve was always looking to probably move the industry forward in some way with Half-Life. You weren't exactly sure how they would do it, but I have no doubt that this game will sell, not only the Index, but other VR headsets in a big way. This will probably become the best selling VR game to date over, a 2 or 3 year period. I expect it to outsell many games, even very popular ones of today. And if they ever can find a way to make this game have mouse and keyboard support, that's going to be huge as well. I just, part of me wants to wait for that, and the other part of me says, oh, maybe you should buy a VR headset. The problem with, and that's even if you really want to call it a problem, I just have an issue with the upfront cost of one of the better VR headsets. I could be spending that money to upgrade a couple of parts in my PC, or many parts, or possibly build what is mostly a whole new rig with the amount of money that you would spend on one of those. And while I'm sure they're nice and I'm sure they're great, in a game like Half-Life probably, justifies that, me right now, I can't justify it. So one of my ideas that I put up on Twitter yesterday was, buy the Index, get Half-Life, play it, 1 or 2 times or something, get full refund on the Index, hold on to Half-Life, and just hope that, one day maybe there's keyboard and mouse support, or, VR headsets come down in price in a big way and they just become a lot more mainstream and a lot more affordable. When that happens, I don't know. Will it ever happen? Who can really say? But this game looks totally worth it in some ways. It's definitely a game I would like to play, especially considering the average length of the game that they're claiming. That's big for me because it looks really good visually. The gameplay looks fun. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the final product is and how it plays and what it looks like. But if that's any indication, right, if that's a pretty recent build of the game, this game is probably going to be incredible. And think about that. Think about the games coming out next year, and that'll be my next video. So thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate all the continued support. You guys have been great. Throw me a like if you liked it. If you don't like me and you don't like the video, throw me a dislike. I understand not everyone's gonna like what you do. Share this in any way you possibly can. Reddit is a big helper. Twitter is a big helper. Shares mean so much. YouTube searches help a lot, but those shares, if you can get the right shares at the right time, that's huge. So all the continued, just being here, showing up for the video or live streams and stuff that I've done in the past, that's huge too. But obviously there's other things that can help. So you guys have a good one. Take care. Let me know what you think about these topics. Peace.